There it goes.
Oh, there we go. So, welcome to MTG Ectoplasm, your home for Spirit Travel and Magic the Gathering. I'm your host, Dwight, aka D Blanco, a medium that wears an extra, extra large. You can reach out to me on Twitter at MTG Ectoplasm, or you can email me directly at mtgectoplasm@gmail.com. Like I ask each and every single episode, do me a favor, hit that follow, like, subscribe button. It's somewhere over here or over there, maybe up there or over here. Just do me a favor, hit that button. I'm not charging you anything with the price of gas. God forbid, you don't want me to charge you anything, right? Because this is great Magic the Gathering content. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I got the person who's driving the show, the one, the only, the ravishing one, the ravishing Renata. Say hello, ravishing.
Hi.
There you go. She's very quiet. She doesn't say much, but she's there driving the show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by saying, sorry for the technical difficulties in the beginning, but this show or this episode is sponsored by our friends at Greg's Games. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Greg's Games. You can find them at 2103 White Horse, Mercerville Road in Hamilton, New Jersey, 08619. Now, this is a great little spot if you're in the Trenton, New Jersey area. If you're on the Philly side, you can just come over. And let me just say, they have Magic the Gathering. They got Pokemon. You name it, they got it with the card games. They got deck boxes and sleeves, binders and folders and play mats. If you're into tabletop games, they got several different tabletop games that you will like. They do Warhammer, and they also got Dungeons and Dragons. This place has it all, and they extended. They got it. Greg decided, hey, I got a small shop. I'm gonna make it bigger. So check out Greg's Games. If I go there, why shouldn't you go there, right? So Greg's Games, you can find them at 2103 White Horse, Mercerville Road in Hamilton, New Jersey, 08619. Now that the pleasantries are over and said and done with, I know what you're here for, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to hear about the ravishing one, the ravishing Renata. You're here to hear about the exploits of a young man who's in a different continent. This young man ended up getting fifth place in the Modern Challenge this past weekend. He posted it on the Facebook group that I don't know if you're a part of. It's a moral imperative that you join this Facebook group. You join all the spirit groups, but join the Facebook one in particular. And he posted the fact that he did exceptionally well. We were like, really? And he did it with Yorion. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. He came in fifth place at a modern challenge with Yorion. So I'm proud to bring on Dennis Stokhaus. Welcome to the show, Dennis. How you doing, my friend?
Hi, yeah, I'm doing just fine. uh, very excited to be here. Thank you for
Well,
having me.
well, thank you. I appreciate it because the fact that I love bringing people on who are very creative, who take their time with the spirits, or just playing Magic the Gathering and just enjoying the feel of community, but also kicking your opponent's ass and making them say that's bullshit. Now, Dennis, um, before we get deep into the heart of the questions, let me ask you a little bit about yourself. Let the audience know a little bit about you. How long have you been playing Magic, and what made you get into the Spirit Tribe?
Yeah, so I started playing Magic 2015, and at that point I picked up Merfolk as my starting deck. It was really cool. It was pretty cheap, at least the build that I had at that time. So it was
Right.
a good starting point. People also said that it's a good start to, I mean, a deck to learn to play. First you play badly, and then you start to play reactive and make it better. Uh, and then I transitioned to Spirits when Supreme Phantom was printed, like 2019,
Right.
and had some great success with that deck in Sweden. I mean, it was went pretty good at the local stores where I played, and I actually placed fourth in the Sweden's nationals
Wow.
with the regular spirits deck that was then.
At that particular time, because I
Yeah.
remember when Supreme Phantom did come out in M19, it ended up, I think it won the Prague Grand Prix at that particular time. I believe the young man was using Bant, the early
Mm.
versions of Bant, at the Prague Grand Prix. And let me just tell you, people weren't aware. They're like, oh, Supreme Phantom, and they didn't realize that was the key niche. That was the key card that Spirits was truly missing to actually make it a true deck. Because one card that I'll constantly say is Drug School Captain. Everybody saw that card and they went, there's something here. As the French say, a little bit of the je ne sais quoi, but it's missing something, right? So luckily for us in the Spirit community, boom, Supreme Phantom was made, and we went flying with it.
Yeah. I mean, we needed that lore to get that additional early power. I mean, Supreme Phantom together with Mausoleum Wonder, turn 1 and turn 2 is just amazing.
Amen.
Yeah.
Three damage on turn 2. How
Yeah.
could you go wrong? You
And
really
also,
can't go wrong. And
like
then
the
with Supreme
countering
Phantom,
build.
with Spell Queller, with the interaction with that, Rattle Chains, you can't go wrong with, like you talk about tribes with their, you play Merfolk and you want to play with their interactivity. Spirits is nothing but pure interactive play with your opponent.
Yeah, exactly.
So let me ask you, what is your favorite spirit and why?
My favorite spirit. I mean, it's difficult. Sometimes it's like choosing your favorite child. But
You don't do that? You don't have a favorite child?
no, I have two, but don't have a favorite.
You love one more than the other.
No. Well, I got three spirits that are kind of tied for the favorite one, and I'm going to try to choose one of them. The first one is, of course, Spell Queller. It's might be one of everybody's favorite. I mean, it's a really cool card. But I will also say that Mausoleum Wonder is that's a good card. And basically, my favorite one right now, I would say, is Skyclave Apparition.
Okay,
Which
that's
is
fair.
something that for me is like it's like a spell queller, but for permanents that have resolved. I mean, it's a different type of spell queller.
No, I hear you. It's like an Oblivion Ring with a the Spiller
Mm.
Queller esque. The only difference is we wish we had Flash on it. I just
Yeah,
with
but you
Aether
can't
Volley
get
it
everything.
does, but with Aether Volley it makes us go Flash. But you, on the other hand, decided, hey, we don't need Aether Volley. But we'll come back to that a little bit later. Me personally, I'll always say it. I love Rattle Chains. Rattle Chains is hands down the best
Mm.
for me, just because I call it a pseudo lord.
Yeah,
It's not a lord, but it's a pseudo lord where we get to flashing creatures and give our creatures hexproof at that particular time.
I mean that's why it's so hard to pick your favorite in this deck. I mean, all of them just play together so beautifully.
I hear you. I mean, I wish they would make more, like as many spirits as we've gotten this last year, 2021. I call it the year of the spirit. We were bombarded with spirits left and right. I just wish we got one or two that would just pushed it just a hint over. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, every time they spoiled something that had spirit in it, we're like, and then
Yeah, exactly. It's like Christmas morning. You open up the Christmas package, like I'm gonna get the latest, what PlayStation 5, and it's like, oh no, it's a bag of socks.
yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you, is there any particular spirit that you wish that WotC would make?
Oof, yeah. I mean, I always talk about with my friends and stuff that the spirits tribal needs one of three creatures,
Okay.
and all of them is in the one drop spot. The big
Okay.
shocker.
No. You're on. Yeah, I'm here.
And I'm thinking that we need ramp in blue white.
Okay.
I want or a card draw filter, or at least some kind of I mean tutor card, or at least some kind of filtering. I
Okay.
think tutor is a bit greedy. It's never going to happen.
Mm, at one. Oof.
Yeah, I mean they got that harbinger for elemental.
Harbinger of
That
the
would
Tide. No.
no,
With
that
the Flamekin Harbinger.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that would be sweet, but it's not exactly card advantage. But I guess my all-time on the wanted list is I call it Wisps of Paradise.
Wisps of Paradise.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it's a
share
dead
that with me.
bird of paradise that gives taps for any colored mana.
Now,
0/1 flyer,
0/1 flyer, and it has to be white. Hmm.
white or blue.
White or blue? Now, my question: does it have flash?
Not necessarily. I just need to play it on turn one, but it's just that it's a card I want to, but I'm trying to be reasonable.
Okay. Now, like, see me, I'm completely unreasonable. I've reached out to Mark Rosewater. I've reached out to Gavin Varhey. I'm putting my foot down. There's a particular spirit that I want made. I call it Peekaboo because
Okay.
it makes sense.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's the card Peek on a 1/1 spirit, 1/1 flying spirit.
Ooh.
Think about it. You play
Mhm,
it,
mhm.
and you get to look at your opponent's hand, and you get to draw a card.
Yeah, that
That's all I
sounds.
want.
Yeah,
That's all I want. It's just a humble little 1/1 spirit. Or
yeah.
if not, make it a 0/1. I'll take the 0/1. But I want to draw a card because that's we
Mm,
in the spirit community, we have zero card draw. And that's one
yeah.
thing we desperately need. And looking at opponent's hand, to let me know if what's coming or if I'm free to swing. You know what I mean?
Exactly, exactly. I
So
mean, they are constantly teasing us with the spirits that almost is good with card arts. I mean, Spectre Sailor, but
mhm.
4 mana to get that extra. I mean, it doesn't. I think I basically never have activated that ability. I mean, it's very, very rare. Um, I would much rather it just draw the card when it enters, and then just nothing more. That will be
Amen.
a sweet contribution to have a fix for that creature. And they got this weird spirit that untapped, and while it untapped, you could pay 2 mana to draw a card, or what it was.
Oh yeah,
It was like,
the
I
five
mean,
or
I don't want to spend
pilferer.
my mana on the upkeep.
Yeah,
I never want to spend the mana on the
no.
upkeep.
I think it was something pilferer. That
Yeah,
like yeah, no, 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 no. That's horrendous. I mean, I can count on one finger how many times I used the spectral sailor's uh ability to draw, mana. I mean,
yeah,
draw a card. One
yeah,
finger I can count.
yeah, exactly.
So now that we got through the particulars, let me ask you, what made you play or think of playing with Yorion in a modern challenge?
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna beat around the bush on this one. I follow Nikachu on YouTube,
Okay,
and
good
I
guy.
watch
I
his Merfolk stuff. And I
yeah,
mean, I
I'm a
watched
friend.
his.
I'm a friend of his. I like him. He's a great guy. He's my personal mentor when it comes to podcasting. So yeah, I've heard him talk about him and his Merfolk with the Azorius spirit, Azorius Merfolk. But you heard him talk about the Yorion.
Yeah, the
What?
Yorion version of Merfolk
Okay.
just recently, and I thought like, I should try this. Basically, also I felt like, I mean, it seemed to work quite well for him, and that's even when he doesn't really have that much white creatures or white spells to pitch for Solitude. And I thought, well, we got a pretty good ratio of white and blue creatures for Subtlety and Solitude, so this might be a real thing.
Well,
So
let's bring up your deck list, Ravishing.
yeah,
So there's your deck list right there. And let me just tell you, I'm looking at it. Of course, there's your companion, the Yorion. And then from that point on, it's the standard, spirit deck, with the exceptions of you added two glass pole mimics, the Kira, the Great Glass Spinner, and then of course the elementals. Like
yeah,
they're not the typical creatures that we put in. And then I found interesting is that you put Teferi. I was like, okay, my man is going with Teferi. I like the fact that you want to slow your opponent down and go, hey, I'm going to be the quick one here, not you. And then I applaud you because this is a move that I've been making. Prismatic ending. I've been putting 2 in my
yeah.
60, and I love prismatic ending. Share with me. Let's go step by step. What made you want to put subtlety and solitude in this deck?
Well, I mean, first off, uh, I saw Nikachu basically doing the same thing. So I looked over the cards and tried to feel like how will they work in the spirits deck. And I mean, they are basically, when you don't have to evoke them, they are great tempo creatures. They do a lot of cool stuff and can turn around the game basically. And I feel like that's been one of the main issues I've been having with spirits lately. When you run out of gas, I mean, a top deck isn't enough to bring the game around again. It's like, okay, this is how far you went this game. You're not going to get any farther. Um, and I feel like Solitude, at least, is a big help to turn things around, at least when you deal with bigger creatures or something like that. I mean, even the life gain is very relevant with that one. I mean, just today they have turned the life gain is turned around at least two of the games I played today. Being
Okay.
able to just make a good block with it initially when flashing it, or just being able to swing it back. Like,
All right. Well, let me ask you, what made you go with subtlety?
um, well, it's I mean, it's a cool creature. I like the card. For 4 mana, it's not that steep for spirits, at least when you're trying to slow the game down with
Right.
the solitudes that you can evoke early to get away early threats. You have prismatic endings for that Ragavan monkey. Um, you often get the chance to be able to play Subtlety. And I think that's the strength of that card. I don't like evoking it that much, only when
Okay.
absolutely necessary. Um, Basically, for a turn 3 Teferi that you don't and aren't prepared for, or maybe a Brennan 6. Um, but being able to, I mean, that's a game winner many times against grindy matchups. Um, I mean, like turn 4 when you get to play it, you bounce something that he has, he ruins his card draw, and you get a 3/3 flyer, and often you can swing for the win after that.
All right. Well, look at here, TCG dude. Welcome, Dennis Stokhaus. Thanks for sharing your insight here, and been waiting to slap together a spirits deck. Look at this, Dennis. You're inspiring people to play, spirits.
Awesome.
That's great. Now, let me ask you: It's how hard is it to sit there and play with 20 more cards?
Well, it does. I think the word I want to say is delude. It makes it less. It makes the
Harder.
less like okay. It makes the deck less consistent.
Okay. Makes
um,
it harder to shuffle. I can say that much.
yeah, I tried it recently. I mean, it's I'm gonna need to practice that part, but for now I'm playing online. I don't get out to bigger tournaments in paper for the moment,
Right.
so I got time to practice.
All right, there you go. But it basically it dilutes. I mean, realistically, how hard is it for you to get the pieces that you really desire, or is it just the fact that the interactive just comes up when you need it?
I mean, it's not that hard to get those pieces. It's just that I think I value the removal, the white removal in the deck a whole lot right now. I mean, if I see a hand where I can see a prismatic ending, a skyclave apparition, and a solitude or something like that, or a combination of those, I always feel like, okay, this is going to be a good game. I feel like those are really the most important cards right now.
Okay.
The rest is it's like temper creatures. You need to play them in the correct order. You need to try to read your opponent. When I'm going to play my rattle chains, I'm going to play anything at all. But as long as we can remove their threats, that for the most part right now is low CMC cost. Uh, I feel like we have time to play patiently.
Okay. Well, I think this is the number one question that everybody's asking, and I actually see a lot of it because people don't know, you got fifth place with this deck, but you just went in through a challenge, not a challenge, but you went through a tournament today and
Yeah,
5 0'd. You 5 0'd again with like just I think you changed up the mana base, I'm assuming.
yeah.
But the number one question that everybody's asking is, where are the ether vials? Like what? Like, do you find yourself at a disadvantage because you don't have an Aether Vial?
I mean, I don't find myself in a disadvantage, but the deck is definitely different without the vial. I mean, in a 60 card deck, when you play the vial, I think you get it like 40 something percent of the opening hands or something. I don't know the exact math or ratio for it.
Right.
And when you get it in the opening hand, you're super aggro that game, or you're super responsive. Yeah, you can have. But the times when you don't get it, I mean, that's the regular one. You can still play the deck. You still have creatures that can play in flash, which I think is the most important part. But I don't think I'm in a direct disadvantage, except for being able to early getting to play 2 creatures a turn early. I mean, that's the biggest disadvantage.
All right.
But I'm a bit salty about Eater Vial at the moment.
Why?
I feel like, yeah, it gets destroyed all the time. I never get to keep it. It's like, okay, I find this really fun toy in my opening hand and I get to play it all excited, and then it come boom, prismatic ending, boom, Boseiju. Or, I mean, in the control matchups that are already a bit difficult right now, I feel at least,
Okay.
uh, they straight up steal it with Archmage Charm,
Oh.
and then they play their elementals with it against me. I mean, they just
Okay.
tap it up until 5, and they can just get on, get in with Solitudes for free against me.
Okay.
So I feel like I'm a bit like Eater Vial is on a timeout. I feel it can behave.
Well, because it leads me to the next question. Like, why not Urza Saga? Almost every single Yorion deck I see has Urza Saga. Why aren't you using Urza Saga with the Aether Vial so you can at least, you know, get the Aether Vial?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest reason is that I hadn't watched Nikachu's video where he put in Ursa Saga before making this one, so I
Okay.
couldn't copy him fully before. No, uh, I mean, one thing is that I'm not entirely sure about Ursa Saga. I
Mhm.
mean, we have a lot of creatures that depend on 2 blue or 2 white, so filling up the mana base with for colorless. Not entirely sold at it. I know it's a fantastic card. I mean, it can win all by itself, but um, yeah, I kind of want to test the bits and pieces of this upgrade uh, a bit more isolated like this to know
Okay.
what makes it work and what makes it not. So I mean, I have tried this one with just the Yorion and the Elementals, and it seems to work. And then I can try a bit more with Ursa Saga later.
Okay. No,
See if
because I was thinking like, I mean, this is just me leaping off of Loris, just
yeah,
from the top of my head right now. There's Mishra's Bauble. We can fish that Mishra's Bauble and use that card to draw more cards,
yeah,
or
yeah,
use that to get the Eighth of All. So, we can actually use the uh, Urza Saga to our advantage. You know, I mean,
yeah. I mean,
maybe I'm
there.
putting the cart in front of the horse, but it's just like it's just a thought process that I just had this very second.
Well, I think it's a good choice to have it in your index actually, just because you have the 80 card deck instead of 60. And if you try to design your deck to have a lot of sideboard cards for artifacts that are 1 or 0 mana, I think that's a great way to find your sideboard hate. Um, but I don't think I need to check up on what that package should be. I mean, there's Aether's Spellbomb that can draw cards or return
Oh,
creatures
that's
to the
right.
hand. The Shadow Spear for the aggro or the burn matchups just to gain some health. Um,
Oh,
I
the
mean,
the,
as you
the
said,
that dagger. What is that? The latest the one that the Hammer Time uses. Uh,
uh,
it's that one mana artifact that you put on your creatures, and it has Death Touch and Lifelink. Shoot.
oh, I missed that one. I have to.
Oh, I have it right here, like across the table. I don't want to get up,
Yeah,
but I
yeah, no,
know like we could put that in there. It's just food for thought. Now, how does Yorion work? Does Yorion benefit you? Like what are the
I
benefits of
mean,
using Yorion?
it actually is 2 ways. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that I came up with this by myself. It's still, I've been listening a lot to Nikachu again. my mentor. um, but in most cases, Yorion is a way to guarantee that you have something to pitch for Subtlety, Solitude, and Force Negation from turn 3.
Okay.
I mean, it got all the colors that needed for those spells, so it makes those a bit more consistent. So I guess that is like the thing with playing 80 cards is like you get to be able to do this consistently instead of the deck is consistent. So it's like a trade-off like that.
Okay.
Um, but in many cases, in this, since we have Solitude, we have Skyclay Apparition. There was a couple of times that I actually got to put it in my hand. I had a Skyclay Apparition on the board, and I got to bounce it. So, I mean, get extra value from that one. And from the tournament today, when I 5-0'd, the last game there, I actually got to bounce a Solitude and a Skyclay Apparition with the Yorion.
Oh wow.
So, I mean, that turned the game around for me.
So the bouncing effect does benefit you in some way or
In
another.
some way, or it's just a 4/5 flyer.
Well, you
It's,
can't go wrong there.
it's good blocker, does stuff.
All right. Now, let me ask you, just because I'm one of the few people that are starting to use this, and I'm hoping that most people incorporated in your deck list. You did put two Atara, and then you did put two a John Joe Seat of the Empire. Uh, I'll tell you, I just, I'm playing on MTG. I'm learning the format and how to play it. It's been very beneficial for me in 60. How beneficial it is it for you when it came to this modern challenge?
They are awesome. Really, really like those cards. They basically, since they come in untapped, the first one is free. Doesn't matter at all. Uh, I haven't been unlucky to draw two of the same legendaries, so I haven't seen the real downside of it yet. But I mean, Iganju does a lot of work in this meta. Being able to take away something that blocks you, or I mean, surprise blocks you. They flash something in that are not what you want to be attacking right into. And just removing like a Darcy or an early Death Shadow, or yeah, the likes of that.
I mean, could you share with us a moment that you had during the game that, or within the challenge, where either one benefited you? Like, was there a crucial moment where a Ganjo or the Atara, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right,
Yeah.
it helped you out?
I'm trying to remember something specific. I mean, it was a pretty long tournament.
Okay,
Um,
I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
no, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, I was able to bounce a pretty big construct with Otavara,
Okay,
which turned around a game for me. I mean, it's not a huge tale of oof, but it bounced something, it removed it, essentially. Uh, Also, I was playing, what was that deck called? Is it Indomitable Creativity?
okay,
It was one of those that it also played with Emrakul.
okay. I'm surprised
And
they're not playing the Archon of Cruelty.
yeah, but this one had Archon and also Emrakul. It was, I don't know. I saw both of them.
Oh wow, okay. I just played it. I played against that opponent who was using that. And I smashed him real hard.
Yeah, I won that one as well, but I was keeping a Otavara in hand just to be able to pitch the Emrakul back to the hand. It's colorless spell, or not even a
Exactly.
spell.
That's what people are sleeping on. I wish, if you're in the listening audience or viewing audience, you have to understand one simple thing. It's it's an ability. It's not a spell.
Yeah.
It's a free spell that can't be countered. I mean, the only way you're going to get around it, I would think, is spell queller. I think that's the only way you can actually get around it.
Can you?
Maybe. I mean, let me look it up. Let
I
me look
think
up.
Spellqueller exiles a spell on the stack also. I think
Let
you
me
need like a stifle effect.
maybe a stifle. Let me see. Yada yada blah blah blah. It is a target spell. See, it's not
Yeah,
even a spell.
yeah,
So, yeah, guess what? Spell Queller can't do nothing to it. I'm wrong.
yeah. I mean,
So,
that's what's cool
the
with the
stifle.
Iganyo also. I mean,
I would like a stifle spirit. Ooh.
mm,
Yeah, give me a stifle spirit. Yeah, go ahead, Boseiju who endures. Go ahead, try to come after my Aether Vial. No.
Numble Obstructionist.
Well, spirit. That's a bird wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was beneficial, huh? So I'm glad you're one of the few people that's like, should people in who play 60 instead of the Yorion consider putting it in their main?
Yeah, I think so. At least one each is something that I will do if I played 60.
Okay.
I
Well, let
guess
me.
not Bant, but at least Azorius.
All right. Well, let me bring up a card. Well, what happens is then in your lands, okay, you have the. Okay, I have a hard time reading cards, but I think it's called raw green triome.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I understand why you put that in there, white blue, but Renata, why don't you bring up the new triome? My question is, are you considering putting this in replace? This is the
Uh,
this is the Bant triome.
yeah, I think I might do it just because I like the Bant, just for the coloring. But I'm not sure it's gonna do much of a difference in this one since I mean I'm using the third color for prismatic.
Okay. So that's the only reason why you have that other triome in your
Yeah,
deck. Okay,
be
because I
able to.
saw that and I'm like, why is he doing this? And the only thing I could think of is maybe he's doing it for the prismatic ending, or he's using it just because he's wants to cycle the land. That's the only like some form of card draw.
I mean, it could be used at the right situation. I mean, spirits is very situational. You have to keep track on what's happening all the time and see the cards in all the new lines every game, basically. But yeah, it's for the third color for prismatic to at sometimes be able to exile something with 3 CMC.
Okay. Well, let me go back to your deck list. And what happens is I see here that you're running 28 lands and then you're running 2 Glass Pole Mimics. I wanted to ask you 28 lands. 28 lands. That's, even, I was watching Nikki True stream and he was, looking at your deck and he was like, 28, 30? That's pretty low here. I mean, did you find yourself wanting more land?
I mean, not really, but guess I could have been lucky. I don't know, but I haven't been struggling for lands. I mean, I need 3 mana for the deck to work.
Okay.
But I mean, getting to 4 and 5, that's the bonus point where you can hardcast the Subtlety and Solitude. But you don't
Okay.
need to do that. I guess that's the point of it. I guess, I mean, I had 21 lands when I played 60 cards, so I upped it by 20 cards, so I added about 30% extra lands. So I think the ratio should be about the same as the other one.
Okay. Yeah, I have to go to you. I have to lean to you're the one who went came in 5th place in the modern challenge. Me personally, I would have gone maybe 31, 32. But hey, if this worked for you, you know what? I can't criticize. You don't tell Picasso how to paint. Picasso paints. You know what I mean?
Sure, but I actually added 1 land to it during the tournament today. Added
Oh
a
yeah,
March late.
I saw that. And then you ended up removing one of the dual lands, the pain lands, the blue green one. I forgot what it's called.
Um, yeah, I
Breeding
added
pole.
waterlogged grove. I added to the deck just
Yes, you added the
for the license.
Waterloo Grove, and then you removed the breeding pool.
Don't have a breeding pool in this one, I think.
No, you like with the modern challenge you did, and the
Did I?
new yes. Let's see.
I,
I thought you had a breeding
hallowed
pool.
fountain, maybe at least. I mean, I
That's it.
don't play.
I thought you
Don't
had a breeding pool for some reason. Okay, I stand corrected. Then
Mr. Rainforest at
I'm
least,
full
but
as I'm lying to myself. I I thought you had a breeding pool in here for some reason. Okay,
I was like completely clueless about the
uh,
deck I was playing in the Modern
that's all
Challenge.
right.
Like
I just made an ass of myself.
next, you say that you played with 85 cards. Why did you do that? I was like, wow. No, okay, now I'm back to it.
Okay. No, but that's great that you decided to you know you saw you need maybe a little bit more card draw, and that's going to be beneficial for you.
Yeah, I mean, card draw from that, and also I'm in the league today. I removed the Teferis, and I actually just, as an homage to Murfolk, I added Spreading Seas back to the deck.
Okay.
I thought maybe I could get some card draw from that and remove some of the Ursa Sagas,
All
but
right.
didn't really draw it during today's tournament. So yeah,
Let's see what TCG dude says. Right. I feel spirits are a control and responsive type deck. Number two game feels quite the same. Hmm. It's a fair point. I mean, it's a tempo deck. We spirits tend to play aggressively with forms of interaction. So
yeah, yeah.
that's a very fair point, TCG dude. Let me ask you, what are the good matchups with your deck?
Um, with my deck in general, I do combo decks is, I wouldn't say a breeze, but it's we have a lot of interaction for it. Um, During the tournament on Saturday, I played against the meta was really really weird. I just have to say, I saw a deck that I haven't seen for a long time during that tournament.
Which one?
Heliod Company. Um,
Yeah.
it made the top 8 also. Uh, I feel like we have pretty good game against Heliod Company exactly because we have so much removal for the creatures. Sky Clay, Prismatic, Solitude, so they never able to build up their combo. I think that we have pretty good game against basically the Affinity deck, the Ursa's, what is it called? The Ursa deck with the artifacts. He makes them tap and stuff like that. I don't remember what that card is.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. They like oh man.
Artificer or no,
Yeah,
what is
artificer.
what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The Urza the artificer.
yeah,
That deck.
exactly. Uh, we was able to pretty was easy to tempo out kind of.
Okay.
Well, it's the same thing. If it needs creatures on the ground and if it needs combo pieces and if they play a lot on their own turn, I feel like that is something that is really easy to tempo out. Um, and I also think that Hammer Time isn't that bad a matchup either in
Really?
this one. Yeah. I mean, I think that's thanks to Prismatic Ending and Solitude.
Mm.
Uh, I mean, I think there was I played one Hammer Time in the tournament. He was trying to go for big swing at turn 2, and I solituded it. The next turn, I skyclayed something. I mean, it's just picks it apart,
Wow.
and then you can do your thing. So
Wow.
I have
That's
pretty
great.
good matches against Hammer Time.
No, that's great. Then let me ask you, what are some of the bad matchups? I mean, me personally, I when I went to the SEG in Philadelphia, I was doing my Azorius Spirits deck, and I got my ass handed to me with Jund. I mean,
Mm.
what affected you?
I mean, Jund can be a problem sometimes. I mean, it depends on if you're on the draw or the or not. It can be very important against that deck just to you get so much behind sometimes. But I think one of the matchups that are difficult was the hardened scales for me.
Okay,
Also something that sorry, it's gonna drink a bit water.
take your time, my friend. Trust me, you've been
um,
doing a lot of talking. It's all right.
Well, for me, in that tournament, it came as a surprise to see hardened scales as well.
Hmm.
Um, so it might be that I didn't have the correct type of artifact hate. I mean, Kataki does not do much against Walking Ballista.
Mm-mm.
Um, so it might have been a different story if I had my Stony Silences and stuff like that. But
Okay.
I mean, yeah, hardened scales, they make huge ballistas, and that is a big problem for for spirits, especially with the low toughness that we have.
I love this. My new favorite answer to decks that use artifacts, including Urza's decks, is Hercule's Recall. Yeah, doesn't hurt to bounce them all back, right? Return
Yeah.
all artifacts back to their player's own hand for a 1 and a blue instant. Not bad. That's me. How can you go wrong with that? I like Stony Silence, but I may have to agree with TCG dude right now because of the way the meta is, and especially because of Besiji who endures.
Yeah.
That's because if you put the Stony Silence, you know what, that Besiju, that extra Besiju, say goodbye to the
Mm,
Stony
mm.
Silence.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that against Ursa specifically, if Ursa is on the battlefield and you can't exactly do anything about it, Hercules Recall won't do much. I
Well, they
mean,
can tap all their
yeah,
tap all their
they
artifacts and
can
then bring them back.
play them and tap it, play and tap it. Can they tap in at instant speed with it? Because the ability is on Ursa, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, in that case, you have to be careful to not let them just replay their whole deck that they have out their hand.
Well, we got to make sure they're tapped out. Just tap,
Yeah.
tap. Which that's something us spirit players like to do. Make sure
Yeah.
make sure we playing on our opponent's back foot, or
Mm,
at the
mm.
end, as I like to say, back foot, but at the end of their turn. So they're like, oh, hold on, you did this on my turn? No, 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 no. What are you doing? No, no, no. Play on your turn. Play fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, is there anything you would have done differently in this modern challenge, and why?
Um, Something I would have done differently. Not entirely sure. I mean, I could have taken a proper look at my sideboard. I didn't really um, think it through enough. I had both Burnt on Forge Tender and what is it called, Sanctifier on deck, without really thinking that they kind of overlap against Red Hate.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would have changed my sideboard a bit. Yeah, just
Well,
to make a better decision going into the tournament. The other part would have been to notice that I was in the top 8 and not in the 8th round of the Swiss. So I kind of should have taken that quarterfinals a bit more seriously and than I than I did.
well, it's all right. I mean, we do. You were telling me that you were drinking adult beverages at that time, so I mean, you know, we tend to do little extra things that we shouldn't do under adult beverages.
Yeah, I mean, I just need to give a shout out to the way I got eliminated on that tournament. I was playing Death Shadow
Okay.
against, I'm sorry, I don't remember what his name was. But yeah, you can look it up. It's on the Magic Gathering matchups, I guess, for the Modern Challenge.
Okay.
I had 2 Sanctifier decks and was steadily just pushing damage.
Mm-hmm.
He was top taking, I was top taking. He literally had 4 life left. He has nothing to do. He had a lot of hand cards in his hand. He just throws a dress down on on the board, wipes everything I have, and just wins from the spot. It was like, oh, it was the worst dress down ever.
Oh, that's awful. Like
Yeah.
I can feel your pain at that particular moment. Like, oh no, no, that sucks.
Yeah, well, I was so impressed by how that card could just turn the tides like that because I didn't think like that he's not gonna have a top deck that can ruin this.
No, I hear you. Let me ask you now that We got a big banning on
Mm.
Monday. Uh, if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, Loris. Loris ended up getting banned, and thank God. Let me just tell you, I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm a jovial, giddy little boy. I'm not going to say Christmas morning. Maybe say it's Halloween morning. I can't wait to put on my costume to get the candy. Right? I think all of us in modern are like, whoa, yay! It's time to play. Because of this Loris banning, let me ask you, uh, is Yorion still going to be the it version? Do you think is Yorion going to be the it version of spirits?
Yes, I think so. At least I'm going to keep trying it. I mean, time will tell. It's not like the 60 card deck is bad. I like that one a lot too. But right now, I want to try Yorion a lot. Um, and also, I think that I'm not sure if it's going to be better or worse for us after Lurrus. I mean, we basically exiled everything anyway. So at our matchups, it didn't exactly do a whole lot. It couldn't recur a lot of creatures.
I hear you.
But it might be better if people try to go up mana. I mean, I think it could make spell queller better, and that's something to look forward to.
I hear you. One thing I do love is that I thank you TCG dude for being here. He goes bye bye kitty. I love it. Happy trails. Uh, I think he got thrown out with his kitty litter. So yay, goodbye. So you believe that this version of spirits is probably the better version so far. As much as I love Azorius, just this basic Azorius deck. Uh, it leaves me wanting right now. The Banff version I think is very, very good. With if people start using the channel lands, I think it's a drastic improvement for Bant. The question is, where is the meta?
Mm.
How's the meta going to shake up? And with your version of Yorion spirits, you know, anything's possible. Like you're I hate to say you're the new flavor of the week. I'm excited to see how much further this this version of spirits goes through because I think there's probably a lot more variations of spirits out there that we still haven't tried,
Yeah, of course.
and I applaud you for at least making the attempt to do something different, something fresh.
Yeah, I mean, we just need to keep trying new stuff.
Now, is there anything different you would like to see come around? Like, let me ask you, how do you think the meta is going to be? Just out of curiosity, because right now it's like this giant
Mm.
shakeup. So you just did the challenge. You did. Sorry, you did a tournament real quick.
Yeah, yeah,
You went 5-0. How was the meta, like that version of the meta that you played?
yeah. Something that I noticed that the people have really, really been longing to be playing Liliana of the Veil again.
I don't know why.
No, but I think it's something like, okay, so Lurrus is gone. I can finally play this card. If it's good or not, I mean, it's a cool card. I don't know if it's game changing, but that's what I noticed. People want to play green black X right now.
Hmm.
That's what I
I
believe.
agree.
They want to play the three mana creatures, 3 mana permanents. They might still see some Death Shadow still. I mean, Hammer Time is still gonna be a thing, probably. Hardened Scales is gonna be some. I mean, there's a lot of decks coming up right now, but I think people want to play Boomer Yund, as people call it.
And let's see what here. Log in to see what cheap cards I can get on MTGO right. Meow. Does Dennis have a guess at how much a budget version of this deck would be, subbing out the solitudes and such? That's a great
Uh,
question. Thank you. Thank you, dude.
yeah, I have no idea. I mean, basically, I'm playing the budget version of this deck is just don't get Yorion and Solitude. Basically, keep the 60 card deck. It's still not a budget deck by any means.
Mm-mm.
But I mean, like putting in a playset of Subtleties, getting the Yorion, even the Rogrin Triumph is pretty expensive right now.
Mhm.
Um,
You put 4 Cavern of Souls. That's definitely not cheap.
no, and exactly, you need the. I mean, in the 60 card deck, you play 3 Cavern Souls at the moment.
Mhm.
So you need a full play set to make this good.
Mhm.
Um, not only to play your spirits, but I often name Incarnation also, just to make sure that they land as they should. But yeah, I guess there. I have no idea how to do this on a budget.
Like don't just use basic lands and don't use any regular. Don't use any of the
Yeah,
rares. I mean, that's the only way to make this deck budget because you know.
I mean it's those cards are just expensive. They're
I
played
mean,
everywhere.
I would say instead of path, solitude, use path to exile. I mean,
Mm.
that's the only other thing I could think of. And guess instead of subtlety, I would have to go with
Venser,
uh,
Shaper
I'm
Savant.
yeah,
Yeah,
you could use that. I don't see why not. I mean, the unfortunately you don't get the evoke, you know,
no,
with it. It's really hard. Like you like like my wife right next to me is cringing because I all my deck is foiled extended art. Okay, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's yeah, and she's like, "You have to buy what now? Are you kidding me?" I'm like, I was like, "Yeah, I thought I had 4 full, borderless solitudes. I only have 3. I got to get another one. Damn it, you know."
yeah,
No, you don't.
of course.
Oh, what was that, dear?
No, you don't.
Oh, you know, that's an argument for later on tonight that she'll probably win. Venser is a very good card. I always wanted to work into a deck. What a cool suggestion. See, look at you thinking outside the box. The what I'm afraid of is that we'll eventually have to sit there and card daddy issues. Yes, hashtag. Go figure. He won't hashtag that's boo sheet or no boo sheet, but daddy card issues. Thanks, pal. But you made my budget go way up. Oh, it's
Yeah,
horrific. Horrific. I can't wait to go to my local LGS and start playing this deck where people go, really? Like, what is this money pile? Like, what are you bringing over here?
I mean that's kind of the funny part, at least at the beginning, when you start with a combination of cards that people don't really expect,
Hmm.
like Yorion spirits. That's like, what is going on here?
Now, do you have this deck and paper out of curiosity?
Yes,
You do, and you've traded at your LGS.
and I traded what?
Have you traded at your local game store?
Well, some of it I order online.
Okay. No, just out of curiosity, because the fact that, like I said, I found you when you were posting about this on the
Yeah,
the Facebook group fan page for the Modern and Pioneer Spirits.
right,
Let me
right.
just say, people were going ape shit. They were like, "Holy crap! Oh my god! You did this, yada yada." People wanted to know more and more about your deck and your thought process behind it. So I'm just curious, like what is it over in your neck of the woods? You're in Sweden, land of IKEA, the meatballs, and the beautiful swimsuit models. You know, are they, over there, like saluting you, going, "Wow, we got our local hero," Dennis, Stockhouse.
Yeah, well, maybe a little bit. I have one colleague that plays spirits that I told him about, and he gave me big shiny puppy eyes. Maybe I can make the spirits work again.
There you go.
Um, but yeah, well, at least I'm a local hero here at home.
All right, there you go. See, ladies and gentlemen,
Very,
you you can be your local hero too. All you got to do is just do exceptionally well. Like I tell everybody, I don't know if you're aware, Dennis. I do a thing on certain episodes where I do the shout out section where if you come in top 5, you know, I'll shout you out on my show. I don't care if it's uh historic, pioneer, legacy, or modern. I will shout you out on my show saying, congratulations, so and so on this day and the deck you played. And I shout out people in Japan. I shout out people in Brazil. I shout people around the world. And let's like this: I don't care where you're from, as long as you're kicking ass and taking names. That's all that matters to me, because you deserve to sit there and get some attention for doing well with a deck that people consider it's just a mere type 2 deck. I don't think it's a type 2 deck.
Mm.
I think it's type 1.5, but it's on the cusp of hitting that type 1 where people are sleeping on.
Well, it's very underrated, and I think that might be in our favor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you play your Mausoleum Wanderer in the Folkland, people be like, well, okay, I can relax. This is a spirit player. No need to worry. And then you play your second spirit and still no need to worry. And then you play two more and you swing and then, okay, I'm going to
Amen.
lose to this spirits guy.
Exactly. They're like, when did this happen? How did it happen?
When did he beat me?
Exactly. Like right now, the big boys, hammer time. If you think about it, this time last year, 2 years ago, slightly before the pandemic hit, Uro was the big deck. Or
Yeah.
everybody and their mother was scared to death of Uro. But people don't realize spirits were winning at 80% of the clip. We were people said Uro was the top deck. No. Spirits and the Spirit Tribe was the number one deck in Magic the Gathering during that time.
Yes.
And I'm telling you right now, we're making a resurgence. This is our renaissance here.
Yeah.
And thanks to you, people like yourself and Dr. Queller and Andre Segura, I'm putting you in very high esteem there.
Yeah, I can hear it. I feel very honored.
Okay. Even my friend from Brazil, oh God, Douglas Rosa, shouting him out over in Brazil world. Let me just tell you, spirits is up and coming. If you're watching the show and going, oh, what these two guys talking about, you may want to consider, if you have the budget, don't be afraid to jump into the Spirit Tribe, because the Spirit Tribe is the real deal. Now, I'm not going to besmirch, my friend Nikachu MTG, who loves his Merfolk. I was a Merfolk player when I first started playing Magic back in 1999. Okay. But, let's be honest here. Are you into fish, or are you into flying in the air? I like flying. I like the evasion. Fish, they tend to bump the wall if you don't get, the island walk available. And the interaction is not equally as good. It's good. It's I'm not throwing hot water on a frozen fish, but the same. You got quiet on me, Ray. Real quick, you're like, that's all right.
Me?
Yeah, that's all right. Is there anything else you want to share with us, Dennis?
I don't know. I just feel like I've been talking a lot. I don't know what I have said, what I didn't say.
Welcome to podcasting. Well, thank you, Dennis. Let me just tell you, out and out, it's been an out and out pleasure for you to join me on the show. I'm glad that I got to share your deck, your insights, your knowledge. Me personally, I can't wait to build this deck. I don't like being a net decker, but this is a deck that I'm gonna, sponge off of and make my personal little tweaks to it as I go along. But let me just tell you, hands down, I love the deck list. I think it's brilliant. I'm happy you put it together, and I'm glad that someone had the gonadal fortitude to sit there and just not say, I'm just gonna stick with 60. I'm gonna expand and do something different, which you did. So I applaud you 100% for doing so. So with that being said, Dennis, thank you for being on the show. I definitely want to have you back. I want to keep on seeing you kicking ass. I want people to sit there and say, that's boo sheets. You should stop kicking my ass. It is what it is. Right, Dennis?
Yeah, I think so. Thank you so much for having me.
No, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, you can reach Dennis. This is Dennis Stokhaus, aka DeStar, on Twitter. That's right. There you go. If you're looking right there at Dennis Stokhaus, DeStar on Twitter, he's a good, he's a good guy. Great insight. And ladies and gentlemen, hey, join the Facebook page. Join the Spirits a Pioneer and Modern Facebook page. My friend Brian, he runs it. He's the administrator. He loves the attention right now. And, how can you not like the attention when Dennis here from Sweden is just kicking ass, taking names?
Yeah.
I want you to be the next Dennis. All right? So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the next time you're kicking your opponent's ass, make sure they say, "That's bullshit. We're out of here."